Well, hi, Chantal, and welcome to Gratitudespace Radio. Thank you for joining us today.
Thank you so much for inviting me and having me here today. Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome. Chantal and I go way back. My mom was part of the Shackley Corporation for most of her life, and just speaking to the company that Chantal works for, my mom was able to stay home and be a stay-at-home mom as far, and also a professional businesswoman because of the amazing company Shackley. So I have memories of my mom talking about you before I met you. Taking care of her years and years ago, and then I got to meet you at one of the conferences, and you're so wonderful. So I wanted to thank you for that. Really good memories, and that's how I know Chantal. And if you could also speak to that and share a little bit about yourself.
Yeah, absolutely. So where shall I start? Well, I guess I'll start where I'm originally from South Africa. I was born and raised there, and I moved here when I was 15. And we moved to Ohio first. I lived there for a year and a half because that's where my stepdad lived at that time. And then we moved to California. And then that's kind of like how I started working at Shackley. I started working at Shackley right after my 21st birthday. And I've been there now for 19 years. And I love my job. Like you mentioned, I get to help people. I'm a customer service representative. And people call me when they have a problem, and they have a problem that they need to fix. So I put out fires, and I get to investigate, what the issue is. I always say this job kind of I kind of wish, or I shouldn't wish, I should say I want to be like a private investigator one day, right? But no, I really enjoy it. I love helping people. Another part of my job at Shackley Corporation, where I work, is I manage our Shackley Cares requests that come in. And Shackley Cares is a nonprofit organization founded in 1992, right after Hurricane Andrew. And it's a nonprofit organization that's completely separate from Shackley Corporation. And people come to us when there's been a natural disaster in their area. And then we, help distribute Shackley Cares product packs to those who are affected by the disaster or something. So I really love doing that part of my job. And like I said, I love just working with our business leaders, and we've had business leaders there for over 50 years. I mean, it's incredible. It speaks a lot about the company that I work for.
For sure. I was, I was talking to my dad the other day. It's just like he's retired, and my mom built this business. And even though he's not really vested in doing, he's doing his own thing. It's like we are still benefiting from my mom's work for all those years.
Yeah.
It's the legacy, and this the generational legacy thing is just it's like nothing else. That's for sure. So it's still a very evident part of our lives. My mom, even though she's not with us anymore, is still an evident part of our lives. In a lot of ways, but obviously Shackley, and then the income and stuff just the what that allows, what that is just a big part of me. And I know that when my dad sees this, he's going to get a big smile seeing you. I did not tell him I was going to do this. I have fond memories of Chantal and my dad and me and her, and it's giving each other hugs, and I know how much I know my dad likes you a lot. So I'm excited to share this with him, or maybe he'll find it. Who knows? But I wanted to speak real quick to say that you, back when I did my 2016 tour, the Punching Depression tour out west, you were kind enough to help set up that I could actually come to the corporate office and gather gratitude videos at the office with some of the key employees there. So I just wanted to thank you for that, because that was a really special time, to hear about this, to be a part of a corporation, or to have a corporation be a part of my life. And then, at 35 years old, I get to trek over to the actual building where everyone is and go in and gather gratitude, which was so beautiful. So I wanted to thank you for that.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. It was such a pleasure to have you there as well.
Thank you. Yeah, it was after the conference, because I remember, no, actually, I think it was before, but I just remember at the conference, I remember you had a speaker who talked about gratitude. So I think maybe the last time was at the conference. Okay, now I'm thinking about it.
But what's really special about the last time I saw you and your dad at that conference, because It was shortly after your mom passed away, and he called field support for something, and I'm the one who answered the phone. And and I told him, I'm so sorry to hear, about Laura. And I remember him saying, yeah, I don't know. I think he was calling in to cancel the conference ticket or something. He wanted refund or something. I can't remember. But I remember telling him, no, you should go. You should go. You should do this for Laura. You should go to this conference. She'll be so happy. And he's like, no, I don't want to go. And I remember I talked him into going, and that to me was so special. And then I get to see him at conference, and I just remember, we both got a little teary-eyed, and I think that kind of like sparked something in him as well, just going there.
Well, thank you for that. I guess I should thank you. I wouldn't have been there, obviously, if he hadn't gone. So I wouldn't have had that. Now I can, the experience was great. And obviously that was very directional to you, him calling, getting you on the phone, and then you speaking to him from your heart like that. So thank you for that. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. And that's kind of what brought us closer together too. If I didn't get that call, then I don't know. I don't think that this would have happened today. I think it's your mom. Your mom has something to do with it. Oh, you're frozen a little bit. I can't hear. You're a little frozen. Uh-oh.
No, you can't.
I don't see you. Your connection's a little...
Here. Sorry about that, but can you hear me now? Is everything okay now?
Yeah, I can hear you, but your screen's not moving. You're
okay.
Frozen,
Well,
but
the cool thing is
I can hear you.
Okay, the cool thing is I can make you the live feed, and then I'm not. So just for right now. So this is a birthday gratitude episode, and today is actually your birthday, which is awesome. So I want to say happy birthday. And I wanted to just, you're very welcome. And I just wanted to give you the opportunity to share your thoughts on your birthday, maybe some reflections and some people that you are grateful for in your life.
Sure. Well, today is my 40th birthday. And first thing is I'm just grateful to be here at 40. There are so many friends that I have lost in the past that didn't get to see 40. And so I am very, very grateful to be here today and looking forward to what life has to offer me. I'm really grateful for waking up today. I think simply waking up today means that I have things to be thankful for. And I'm definitely grateful for my mom and my stepdad, and for bringing us over here to United States in 1996. And I'm grateful that we're all healthy and also, like I said, good health. I'm grateful for money in the bank. I'm just happy that I have a job where I don't have to work 3 different jobs. I have one job that I have, and a full-time job, and that's very important to me. I mean, and I don't know. I'm happy for so many things. Sunrises, sunsets. That's definitely one of my 2 favorite things. I feel like when I am catching a sunrise or a sunset, I think everything just stops in my life for a second, and I can definitely just reflect on that present time. And I'm most grateful for situations like that.
That's beautiful. I moved to a new place in the last 6 months, and I'm actually facing the sun comes up where I'm at. So I sit here in the mornings, and speaking of sunsets, like sunrises, I'm grateful that every day that it isn't just sunny every day, because I really do notice when it's, you know what I mean? Like I get the contrast of both. Like this morning, it was great. Like there was an orb, because it was cloudless sky, but sometimes it's cloudy. But I'm glad that I have both. That way I can appreciate, you know what I mean? I appreciate when it comes up, opposed to it's harder to appreciate something or to keep something in the forefront of your mind when it's there always.
Yeah.
And I love sunrises. So
Right.
I'm completely with you on that. It's such a gift. And I loved how you said, life, people normally just don't think like, what am I grateful for? Well, I'm grateful that I'm alive, that I woke up this morning. That's something in my journal that I always write. I remind myself that the day is a gift, and you said specifically, I woke up, which means I have a lot to be grateful for, which I love. So thank you for that.
Yes,
Yeah.
thank you.
So is there anything recently in your life that's kind of surprised you, or something that, somebody in your life, or a kindness something, that made you feel more gratitude, something that maybe surprised you, or?
I am trying to think, we've been in this pandemic for a little while, so I haven't really been, hanging out with many people,
Mm-hmm.
but I'm trying to think. The one thing about this pandemic is I think it brought us closer in a way. I think a lot of positive things came from this pandemic. I know it's a tragic situation, but for me, I'm not focused on the tragic part of it. I'm more focused on what's coming out of this, the goodness that comes out of this. The good thing that came out of this is I get to work from home now. And I think a lot of people are very grateful for that, especially people who have like an hour commute every day. That's my one. And I'm sorry if I sound a little selfish,
No.
but I'm just so grateful to be waking up in the morning, and you don't have to really get ready for work. You can just go to your desk and start working. And I think it just puts such a more positive spin on my day, rather than walking in the office and, having to deal with coworkers who are not morning people. I am a total morning person. So I come
Mm-hmm.
in with a big smile on my face, and then you have people who walk in and say I haven't had my coffee yet. Don't talk to me. So I don't know. I'm grateful working from home. And also, like I said, it brought so many people closer together. I think my friends and I, we check in more. We check in more with each other now. Because we don't get to see each other, but it's weird because we actually now care more for each other. We constantly text each other or call each other. We even do live video chats. Like, we didn't do live video chats before the pandemic. I mean, we didn't, we would see each other in person. And now it's like we constantly are checking in on each other, making sure everybody's doing good, and just trying to stay sane, during this situation. That's the way I kind of look at it. And I don't know. I just think that a lot of positive things have come out from this pandemic.
I completely agree with you, and I loved your analogy of, or you were saying, like, obvious. We the thing is, it's like we get to decide what we want to focus on, and I'm in the middle of my second book, which is called Dear 2020. So I've had people write about it's a book about perspective. It's not a COVID book. It's a book about perspective, right? It's like, what do you, in any given year, what do you want to remember? Do you want to write off a whole year and say, I learned nothing? I walk away with nothing, or anger, or do you want to put perspective on it? Go, what did I learn this year? What touched me this year? What changed me? What, who did I meet? Because any given year, or just like any given day, right? It's like life is literally, it's, emotions, things happening. It's a constant up and down. There's no, you know what I mean? It's not always, it's not one pulse. It's, it's anything can happen. But I love how you said I choose to see the good, what's going on, opposed to focusing on the bad, because that's a choice. And that's what's beautiful about being grateful and perspective, is like, we have a choice to decide, what do I want to focus on? So I love that you said, like, obviously not having to commute. Wow. Right. I mean, think if you're commuting an hour each way, that's at least 10 hours a week that you're not having to travel.
Right.
I mean, geez, I mean, that, wow. Right. You get to be home. You get to spend that time with your family, or read a book, or just
exercise.
Exercise. Right. Like, geez. I mean, that's, if it's an hour each way, it's like, that's an extra week worth of work, 40 hours that you don't have to go in, that you're not even a part of, right? Like, you just get to do what you want. I remembered, I was out in Shelbyville, and I moved back to Louisville, where all my work is. And as soon as I got back, I realized, wow, it's like, I'm not commuting an hour and a half every day. It was like, I found it's like I found time, right? It's like every time I went to a job, it's like, wow, I have an hour left back in my life, right? It was amazing.
Right.
And then you were saying about Zoom calls and video calls, like this has brought up people like being comfortable doing that, right? And I love that, right?
Yeah.
It's massive. For example, even with my father, like we both have Amazon devices, and in the morning we'll do coffee, video chat over coffee, because it's so simplistic, because it's a show device where it has the screen. So all I have to do is tell her to call Dad, and we have morning coffee, because he can say answer on the other end. Like there's no like technical, you know what I mean? Like it's just he has to know to say answer, and then there we are having virtual coffee. But again, that's just something that's come out of this, where it's more simple. And I've even doing the podcast and doing video stuff, and is realizing when you can connect with people on such strong. It's, for example, if you and I were to meet, say like at a coffee shop, it would not be as personal as this.
No.
You know what I mean? There would be noise. There would be things going for our attention. But because we're on a video call and we're looking at each other, this is actually much more intimate. Like it's better. It's better.
Yeah.
All the way around. It's better.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. So I've made so many good friends and been able to do this and, talk with people about gratitude and hear their stories, because we can connect like this, which is specifically a gift of the last year.
Right. And, also like at my work, just as an example, our CEO is Roger Barnett, and he is an amazing person. I mean, I have so many things to say about him, but when we were in the office, I would, walk by, once a week or something, and I'll see him like, hey, what's up, and but now, or you see him once a month, just whenever we actually do happen to pass by each other. And he always says, hi, Chantal. Like, he's always, he calls everybody by their names, and he's just such a gentleman. And, but now we have these weekly Zoom calls with all the employees and Roger every Friday. And I'm just thinking, we're so much more connected now. We were not this connected before when we were in the office. We had an employee meeting quarterly, so only every 3 months. But now we meet every Friday. It's just amazing.
Right. Now you're now you're not in the office. They said, okay, we're going to meet once a week, right? That's
once a week for 30 minutes.
This is a check-in. Yeah, that's great. Yeah. And then like I said, because this bubble's been burst with working at home, there's no reason why, even when offices open back up, that they can't be a little flexibility in that too. So who knows, right? Because now it's been done. So
I know, right?
Anything's possible. It's basically what it is. Like the door's been opened. So.
I know, right?
Yeah. Well, you were speaking to your parents earlier, and I remember when we were writing, I didn't even know you were from South Africa or any of that stuff until I messaged you, earlier, or it was last week. And what a massive thing to be grateful for. Your parents just moving you to, moving you to another country like that. And then you said that you had to learn English. How fast? You were saying you had to get the gist of English in, what was it, 6 weeks? 6 months?
6 months. So, yeah. So, I'm sorry. Were you done talking?
No, go ahead. No.
Sorry about that. So it's 6 months. So my stepdad is an American. He grew up in Pennsylvania. And so he got divorced, his kids are grown, and he worked for Owens, Illinois. I don't know if you know that company. It's a glass company. And his job basically told him, well, you're divorced now, so let's send you to South Africa for 2 years. It's a contract. He's like, okay. And so that's how him and my mom met. So his contract ran up, of course. And so he had to come back. And of course, they fell in love and they decided to get married. And so they broke the news to me that we're moving to America. And of course, they said, we're going to have to put you, like, we're going to hire you a private tutor. You're going to have to learn to speak English. And it's not like I didn't know English. I mean, we just never spoke English in our household, Mm-hmm. I would hear English on TV, but I don't really understand it that much, And I mean, of course, I learned English in school, but what you learn in school is not really the way of life. You just learn grammar and things like that. So basically, they hired me a tutor, and this lady was actually from America. And she could teach me some of the slang and, and she just basically taught me how to speak. It wasn't an English lesson where you learn about grammar and, things like that. We just had conversations and just learned. So I had to learn, because once I moved here, I had to go to school. And so, but I caught on. And, what really helped me a lot is watching a lot of TV. A lot of TV. I mean, I started watching, like different episodes of different shows, and you just hear it and it kind of sinks in, and reading, So, but yeah, I mean, I my English is still not 100%. There's still things I don't say right, and big words when people say it, and I'm like, go to Google real quick and see what does it mean, Thank you for Google, but I make it work. I have a successful job, and I make it work.
You're a great communicator. Like I said, I never would even imagine the English was your second language. So, on my end, that's where I'm coming from with talking to you. So I think it's excellent. You did, and I love how you just shared the elements that brought your stepfather to South Africa. I think, it's like with gratitude, obviously you're grateful for your stepfather, and then there's reasons you're grateful for your stepfather. Obviously you love him. He brought you, it's part of bringing you to America, and you have all this stuff. But the amazing thing about gratitude is you could even go, well, I'm grateful that he worked for this company, right? Like,
yeah.
Without the company, he doesn't show up in America. You go, well, obviously I'm grateful that he got divorced. Or that, you know what I mean? No, I mean, and there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong.
Right?
These are all elements that play into why, who you are and where you're, the fact of where you are in life, you know what I mean? Like, you take away him getting divorced, he doesn't go to South Africa, and then he doesn't meet your mom, and then you have a complete different life. You know what I mean? And right. The amazing thing about it, if you can sit in a grateful state, you can start looking at all these little things. You can go, I'm grateful that happened. I'm grateful. This is okay. It's like, it's even the bad stuff. It's like, it's okay. You know what I mean? Because you're here. Right. And it's like almost like you've got this mixture of things. Right. And if you take one thing out, you're not who you are now. You're in a different place. You're not the same person. It's all these little elements. And even, I have a letter in my first book from a friend, and he was writing about how his father. How did he say it? It was like, he was pointing out that, like, his father, before he was his father, was a teacher, and his father was married. So he keeps saying his father, but he wasn't existing yet. Right. So, okay, we'll just call, his name was Frank. So Frank was a teacher, and Frank was married, and Frank ended up like cheating. He was cheating on his wife with one of his college students. And then long story short, this is my friend's mother, right? And they got married and they had him, but he was pointing out, like, he's like, I'm grateful all this happened, because it's all integral to me existing and me being who I am. Like, this drama, this, these little things that interchange, they're important, and you should be grateful for them, because if you're grateful for who you are and you love yourself and you're in the moment, you can go, well, I'm grateful for it. I had a friend the other day going, she's having her, talking about her health, and she's like, I'm grateful to, she didn't say the person's name, but it's like, it's like, I'm grateful for the lady that opens up the gym at 6 a.m. Yeah. It's not only am I grateful that I have a gym, but I'm grateful that there's somebody there. this specific person is opening the gym for me. That whole, like, you're like, what are you grateful for? And then what's behind it, right? Like, how many elements, just like we just talked about you working from home. Well, if we didn't have the technology, obviously, these companies like Zoom doing video stuff, or, teleconferencing, if it wasn't where it is today, that wouldn't be possible. And then you wouldn't be working from home. Who knows? I mean, what would that, you know what I mean? We didn't have the modern technology. It's like, right. Where would that go? I don't even know. Right. It's like, I guess it'd make you guys keep coming in. I don't know.
Right.
But because of, even I was thinking my dad actually had, he had surgery yesterday, because he has a really big kidney stone. They had to remove it surgically. And I was just thinking, like, and he's good. Just let you know, like, yesterday was he was there, and I got all the calls. I couldn't go in the hospital with him, but and I talked to him this morning. So fortunately he's great. But I was thinking about, like, 50 years ago, if you had a kidney stone that you couldn't, you know what I mean? I don't even know when they started these different treatments. It's like, say 100 years ago, right? If you had a kidney stone, you just had to live with it. You had to be in pain. Sometimes it killed you. Who knows, right? It's like, but fast forward today, like, remember the doctor talking about, we're going to go through his back, we're going to be using these sonograms to like know exactly where it is. And then like, it's just like science fiction. Like he's talking to me, it just sounds like science fiction, right? It's like they're going to go in and they're going to zap it. Then they go in the back. We're not going to go the other way. And it's a procedure it's a normal procedure where he's there for a day. And I was just thinking about how fortunate, and then, we step back to my mother. I was thinking the same thing too, right? It's like, if they didn't have the treatments initially, she wouldn't have been in remission for 10 years. I mean, it's an element of it, right? It's an element. Obviously, she took care of herself, but the element is like, her mom before her mom passed away from cancer at a younger age. And that's, again, like, what that perspective, right? Like technology keeps moving forward. We're fortunate enough to be able to like have these, obviously nothing's perfect and nothing's the answer, but these treatments are allowing people to live longer. And when you get to the experience of somebody you love, you just kind of can sit back in a space of gratitude and like marvel at it all,
That kind of, right. And that kind of reminds me that I am, from what you just said, I am very grateful for being born in the time I was born at, I mean, like you said, I mean, people who are born like 100 years ago, like we didn't have the technology then that we have. Oh, I think I lost you again.
No, I'm still here. I just went to solo screen. Go ahead.
Oh, okay. No, I just think like people who were born like 200 years ago or 150 years ago, they didn't have the technology that we have today. So that's definitely another thing to be super grateful for being born when I was, that I have the opportunity to live in the world that we live in today. And especially being able to live, waking up, and you have fresh air to breathe. You have clean water. You have indoor plumbing. I mean, if you think about, there's so many other countries that people wake up. They wake up in fear, and that's one thing I'm grateful for. I don't have to wake up in fear. And I don't know. I can't say more how grateful I am for everything that I have every day, where some people don't have that, and I do think about that sometimes.
Well, that's you're so right, and that's a whole perspective thing. It's like it's not just like waking up every day it's a gift to be alive. It's not a given, And then when we're born, I'm trying to do my best, because when we're born to these conveniences, unfortunately, we take them for granted unless we do the work. It takes work to appreciate these everyday things that we take for granted. Just like, the reminder of water, right? I mean, water is so massive. It's part of every day. It's part of your life, you think about the fact that you can go into the restroom, you can turn it on, it's hot or cold, you can drink it, all the things it goes into. We're not having to travel for it. We're not having to worry about it poisoning us. You don't have to carry it back. I mean, just which a big part of the world, most, over a majority of the people on the planet, that is an issue for them. They wake up and that's not a given. It's massive. You think about like, temperature controlled homes, right? Like the fact that we wake up and we don't have to worry about how cold or hot it is. These are just conveniences we're born into that are just, it's something to always be grateful for. And it's always good to talk about,
Right.
It's always good just to bring it up again.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So this has been great, Chantal. I really appreciate you spending your birthday morning with me there in California.
Thank you.
And I'm really glad you could make this time today. And it was good. Like when I tell people these birthday ones, it's like it's my excuse. I'm very selfish because it's like my excuse. I get to talk to you, so it's like this is my way of like of being able to do that. So even if you said no, I would have circled around and said, well, it'd be cool to catch up at some point anyways. Like it's like a follow through, So cool thing is now we've done this and it's captured, and you got to share some beautiful things about your life. And I got to hear some wonderful stories. We got to talk perspective and share some love for the Shackley Corporation and the beautiful everyday things we have. So, So thank you so much, and happy 40th. I'm 42. I have to keep in mind that I'm a little bit older than you. I had my birthday. My birthday was 1 month ago today, so I guess I'm 2 years and 1 month. So I'm just December 30th.
Oh, well, happy birthday!
Thank you.
Like you say, every day is your birthday.
Right, because we're waking up with gifts.
Yes.
Right.
The biggest gift of all.
That's right. That's so right. Well, thank you again. I'm Chris with Chantal. Just remind everybody to stay grateful. Thank you. And we are out.